to another episode of America in Black and White. I'm your host, Charles King, and tonight we have a very special guest, Mr. Andrew Williams. Mr. Andrew Williams is an Atlanta native who graduated from AMSC with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. He is currently employed as a project coordinator for executive searches at the Georgia Institute of Technology and an MBA candidate at Clayton State University. He hopes to make a positive impact on the community through his continued work in higher education. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Mr. Andrew Williams. Good evening, Mr. Williams. How are you today?
Hi, good evening, Charles. I'm doing well, and yourself? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for being on the show tonight.
Yes, of course.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to your bio that I did not mention?
No, just here, happy to just kind of talk with you. I'm thankful to be on here. Encountered quite a few different things throughout the city, just different environments in my career. So happy to speak on whatever. So you go ahead and take the lead.
Well, look, I think your internet's kind of slow.
It is okay. I got you.
Okay. Now you're up to speed.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So tell us what is it that you do and how it could be of service to those that are looking to get into some entrepreneurship and build their own businesses and help to shape their communities.
Sure. So just for anything I mentioned, whether it be where the place of work or as far as a school or whatnot, I'm speaking here as a fellow citizen here in Atlanta, as a representative for either any of those institutions. So I work as a project coordinator at Georgia Tech, and so as it said, one of the things we deal with is executive searches. So essentially, is whenever there is a new vice president, a new dean, any high-level role within higher education, it happens is we'll manage that process of getting a search firm and getting a committee to see who we can get to fill those roles. In the field of when it comes to those type of roles, the community is small. There are only a handful handle those roles from a handful of different institutions, both national. So essentially, how that ties into the entrepreneur side, and I'm going to find a clever way to say it, because we touch so many different avenues. We touch the research side, we touch the academic side, into different parts of different arms of Georgia that not only just touch the classroom, but touch the community. The specific area that I would like to discuss today that deals with the entrepreneur side is Georgia Tech's research side. And there's in there specifically EI squared, which is the Institute. But before I jump on that, just want to see, is there anything, did you want me to go right into it or?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please. And so just as you're going along, I mean, I'm sure that there are going to be lots and lots of questions and there'll be follow-ups, but because I'm sure that, with Georgia Tech, being the school that it is, I know they delve into many, many areas and they're expanding programs over at the school. So, there are going to be a lot of things that I'll be asking as you're going along.
Okay. The couple of areas that I really wanted to touch on. So two of them are accessible to the public, and then one area is for Georgia Tech students, but I want to touch on on something when I get to that one. Federal public sector. So the first one, and these are all under institute, would be ATDC, and it stands for the Advanced Technology Development Center. And what this place does, it focuses on helping startups in the helping them kind of get through that phase of like under that they might need as far as like growing their business, and getting one of the things that we find there's a big need for STEM nowadays, and so when it comes to that, personally, do I start a tech company, where go from there's Google and there's all Microsoft and some of the newer starting to come on the scene, and this is one that helps with that. And so there are two specific sections as far as criteria. And so the first area is the accelerated criteria, and I've got there's quite a lot of information. So the accelerated criteria, this is for companies in the early stage of their startup journey, but technologies or life science products. Some of the evaluation criteria: at least one person working on the business on a full-time basis, and another basis must have a minimal viable product, completed the ATDC Educate Badge series. That's your waived by some. There's a specific criteria, and then must be invited by an ATDC staff member of the accelerated portfolio. And so thing I'm going to touch on with that, because I know it's how do you get to that point? Where does this where does this all tie? But let's go on to the other set of criteria. So this one is a little bit more further along, and that's ATDC signature criteria. And the high potential technology and life science companies willing to move headquarters to Georgia. Unlike other startups, these companies do more than just an idea. You are an emerging company with leadership team, or two is fine. Yeah, there's goals. Changing disruptive technology or deep intellectual property, scalable, coachable management team, and a depth for an aptitude for receiving strategic investments, or but I want to go back to the first set of criteria at that early stage startup journey. That criteria, this can be useful for those who are who have an idea, who are in a certain STEM background, or student, anybody who's student in college, or thinking about going to your has ideas and things like that. This would be that realm full as far as getting that as far as looking at those particular things. And the piece, let's see, that particular funded, and so then there's another area, and it's and some people may have heard of it before, but it's MBDA. So MBDA is the Minority Business, and essentially what it does, it facilitates your company with resources to succeed. They're an actual based in DC. However, this particular is actually working outside of EI squared here at
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with this? So tell me, Like when it the original ATDC series that you were speaking of, how is
Mhm.
it that people out in the public are going to learn, or how can they access the information to this program that will help them to get some ideas as to how to build their business? Where are they going to be able to find that?
Okay. The best way, the best way to do that would be to visit their website of a and I'd love to, if we can, drop that website. But they have different events that just as far as like um, finding out uh, as far as like joining an entrance meeting and of that there's the spark the specific part of curriculum. Let's see if I can go back to it. There's a so it's called the ATDC Incubator Program. There's a process that you have to go through, an education program before essentially being selected. You see, say the wrong
So,
thing.
so when you look up the ATDC Incubator Program, it tells you the things that you have to do and what you have to submit in order to be accepted
Yes,
or invited.
yes, and specifically, want to say what it's called the ATDC series. That's part of the criteria. So you want to look up that part, see what the how to get a part of that particular process, and so that would be the best way to go to their website.
Okay. And so with this though, so is it more or less like in being is it a selective program, where as being coming up and being a business owner, are you going to have to pretty much have all of your paperwork pretty much in order? If there's tests to take, you're taking tests, you're doing everything that's necessary. What is the determining factor from that program uh, that um, that they use in order to select these new business owners?
So there's a there's an evaluation basically ATDC goes through, um, and see if we pour. So essentially, with that process, it's more of a there's more an evaluation as far as sure that there's like a commitment, as far as going through the asking. And so what happens is when I was talking about uh, the catalyst. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Okay, so essentially, ATDC it screens for and the defensible the how defensible the core of product or potential for the business to scale and receive funding. So basically, what they're looking at the product that you have. They're seeing if this is something that's doable, is that's like not going to is it going to add value? Is it going to is the market? Is it going to is it something that's already out there? So basically, looking at it from that lens. So what you're wanting to do really this space with you're coming into this space with a product in mind. It's something that you've worked on, and maybe not have to scale up, but essentially they're going to ask product to see just what does it do. Think of it like I want essentially.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I understand that. So basically, let's say if one of our listeners out here that want to get into this program, and let's say that they're doing financial services, okay?
Okay.
So they're doing financial services, and we know that there's lots of that out there. What with their product, is their product going to have to be something that's unique in order for them to take them on to help them to develop it that much more?
I wouldn't say necessarily unique. Okay. What it depends on. It depends on a couple. It depends on the specific areas that it. Also want to touch back with this being ATDC. It's technology. So is this if this say is type thing, are they creating some type of app that's providing a service? And what essentially what if that makes sense? Because if there's a problem that's already then okay, that's all good and well. Maybe what is the aspect of this product differentiates it from another product? Is it the code used when creating the app? Is it as far as the cost effective being something that's maybe not having a higher price tag on it than something else in the consumer. If essentially it has the same functionality, then it has to be area, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So if not in functionality in another area, unique.
Okay, look, I'm trying, I think something's going on with your internet because, it's like as you're talking,
Okay.
kind of like being choppy and so forth. And it's like we see
Okay.
your lips moving, you're coming out, but it's kind of like it's choppy where it's like slow or it comes up late.
Okay, I got you.
Can you say something? Let's see if it's getting better.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay. There's nothing going on. It's all good right now.
Okay. I'm gonna try not to move too much. I hope that's not what it is. But to go back to answering that question, essentially the uniqueness and how much how. So essentially, when you're looking at several different things about this bringing towards them, functionality, cost, what is the end user experience, all those being technology based. If you're providing that financial service, so of course, obviously being a technology based, because this is easy. If they have the same, if they functionality as say another service that's out there, okay, product unique in say another area. Is it unique in its if it's kind of similar in functionality, then is it unique in its cost? Is it unique in its user experience. So essentially, you're going to look at all those different areas, and when you're proposing your product, because essentially, often try to, the term, um, and we often say, "Oh, okay, reinvent the wheel." Is like, actually,
right.
reinventing the wheel is many different products out there that are essentially do the same thing, but in another area they add some type of benefit. So reinventing the wheel is essentially not a bad thing. Yeah, you want to look at those functions in different areas. We look at phone services, and we see that there's the same services, but they have different features that are much more. So essentially, you look at all areas when you're proposing this product. Be afraid of challenging someone else out there who already has it. If that, I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you're actually fine. Everything is within that course.
Okay.
I was gonna follow up, and I wanted to ask you how many, to your knowledge, how many people that have applied or got into this program that are minorities?
Okay. Um, um, I don't have that piece right here in front of you. Back to you. But one of the things that I went looking away from ATDC, and for at the Minority Business Development Agency, you a lot of different businesses that of course come in. You'll find some of the different resources, not just the businesses, but also the resources being very diverse, different minority businesses. But that particular piece, as far as I don't have that number in front of me.
That's understandable. I know that's fine. I mean, because I'm sure that there are an enormous amount of them, and so it's just one of those things that I know I myself will be checking into that because it's a program that I have not heard of, but I would like to find out about it because if I can find out exactly how the program operates, functionalities and how you actually get into it, I would actually like to I'll probably do something like a little training on for those that are trying to be entrepreneurs to share some light on the actual program because it sounds like it's an interesting program. I've heard of MBDA. I've heard of MBDA, and I've actually set up appointments with them before, so I've got some just on what they do. But I know that they're kind of like really, really broad based. But this ATDC and ATDC signature program seems like it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. You go.
No, you're fine.
No. I was just one of the things that's really interesting about coming on here, and we're talking to entrepreneurs, those who are interested in launching. Me being education, one of the things that that's just finding some of the different services that the college just does within the community. When you're saying the question, how does someone find out about? You asked that question earlier, and it's a really good question. What I say to that is, they find out through network. People like myself or different ones who get into these spaces, sharing that information, at, say, different launch events and whatnot. So um, I say that higher education is a really great space out, especially you know getting that formal education of that business degree or whatnot. But business degree isn't always what kind of gives you that push. Sometimes it's the connections that you find at that collegiate space. So just the thought was coming in my mind. Sorry, continue.
And so, as you deal with you being in education, so like in your with what part of education are you pretty much doing? Are you like an instructor, or are you just an administrator?
On the administrative side, so I work on the HR team, and so there's a 4 HR personnel and then 2 of us who handle and we just basically handle all the say hiring of faculty, searches for faculty, and process improvement, those different things, transact background that get people acclimated into the institution from the staff administrative side. Yeah, and it that came from just a grad. I was working as a student leader, interacted with different departments, different areas. I was given tours, essentially, and working so arms put me in a position where get access to different initiatives and things that were being pushed. And so while I may not be on what I have strived to do, and that I think many business owners and those who strive to be should ask themselves, and that question is, how can I help you? That question, sometimes we get kind of straight because we think it's it sounds so simple, so really doing anything, but it translates into so many when it comes to coming up with the idea for your, so you can go so you can go pitch something at HTDC, coming up with your product so you can when it comes to any type of business or whatever. And for marriage education space, when I was younger, during the pandemic, I would say I ever got to a bit of an entrepreneurial venture. Pandemic, you have things like this right now, virtual setting challenge. We needed to create a nation from scratch so that students could still come in and just go through that process. And so when it comes to doing that, there's usually some type of service you have to go out, and they upwards of about $50,000 to build something. And learned and this is why I'm pushing, get that formal education degree. It's helpful. Is learning how to use a resource when you're starting out. So essentially, we had to. I was a student, but I was asked to be on a team, basically a video course that get acclimated to school. And so we had to use our in-house, use, PowerPoint and learn things to video, write a whole pitch, pitch it to someone and say, hey, we want to film this and do this, and get it, launched and everything. And and I think sometimes we lose the opportunity to fail in a safe setting, to try and fail within a safe setting, and that is what college will allow you to do. Because I think back to that, and with that, with that opportunity, I think there are a lot of different things I've learned, as far as, if I ever have stage or another phase, having to create something from scratch and pitch it and sell it, then I think I was there. So and with that last piece I was talking about, Georgia Tech, the other one being Create X, which is a students to, helping them launch their product. If there are people, coming from, different backgrounds and, feel like, okay, hard end goal to get to. Well, when I was working at Metro, I didn't expect to, I honestly didn't expect the transfer to go to get to this particular space that I'm in now. But when it comes to like navigating within an access college, both as a student and as a person who's, in a space to from can start in one space and transition to, and the reason I say that, saying with that Create X opportunities to, launch products. So there were instances we had this opportunity, this STEM program at Atlanta Metropolitan State. You could do your 2 years and essentially STEM related major over at Georgia Tech. Those students, being now Georgia Tech students, would have that to use CreateX, who may have, and it's no knock in any college is great colleges, but being able to transition and get to a space are open. So that real quick, and I know that went off on a tangent, but
oh no, you're actually fine. What I'm just wondering, I'm trying to get through your, your internet. It still got you choppy while you was just talking.
Gotcha.
Let's see if we can make this work a little bit more, because I'm sure that, with it being choppy, I don't want people to like just to tune out.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what inspired you to go into the administrative side of what you're doing that actually works with the public and bringing in folks from not only the staffing of what they do as instructors, but for these programs? Do they work together mutually exclusive, or are they separate?
So thankful. What I learned, so with me being this background, working at a college while I was in, I learned essentially is that a college, while it is, a place of learning, is, and it is both a business and the product being its students and, and their success. There are other that services that they provide to the community, service they provide to the government, all those different areas. And so prompted me. I have to say it was just that time that I had that opportunity to work in the emissions space and working in the orientation space, and going to school in an access an access college that I actually really love, and I know it sounds crazy, but I miss it now. Now that I'm working at Georgia Tech, that is, there are a lot of challenges when you're at in any college, but specifically at an access college, resources, funding, and needed to push things along. And so as I was in my undergrad and I learned some of the struggles and challenges that came to get certain things done, whether it be funding for your annual fund, or say just something as simple as an event for students. But there's a phrase that I learned, and it's adversity breed. So yeah, so I'll say it one more time: adversity, innovation. And so in that space, we were running into different issues and trying to figure out how to solve. We had to get creative. We didn't have the money always to do some of the things we had to use in-house resources. We had to figure out how to repurpose things. We had to, and so then I realized very quickly in higher education that a lot of the things that you're learning, not just is in the classes, when you're taking those opportunities to work on campus and try to solve it. I think my internet's getting a little choppy.
Yes.
Okay. There we go. So yeah, when it comes to realizing those problems, the question, go back to that question, how can I help you? Is very important. And it's very important for people who, different ones coming from, environments where maybe the benefits there are you can see the challenges, you can see the issues, and taking that moment and taking a hard look at you can find the solutions, and then you can market those solution around you. And what I realized as I was doing those orientations for I was seeing so many different people from different areas that were coming, and they did supportive services. And what I realized was there was so much more people as far as in the community, as far as Atlanta area in that space. And I think is one of the main reasons that I chose to career move and move in there. I had some opportunities at some corporations, but I just really felt education space, and I really fell in love with the idea of seeing us succeed, seeing people from different areas that maybe get a chance to come to college and see what echoing down a little bit. them succeed and helping in that space. And of course, you were also wanting to live too. Kind of had to kind of go where the money was a little bit, but also having worked in that where the foundation was this college. That's where the heart of coming up with ideas was in the community and realizing the problems that the college had and coming up with solutions. I was able to come to the innovative space that is Georgia Tech. But I remember and hold dear my Access College. Try to help in capacity I can, because just to touch, get a touch point back with that.
So for those young people that are looking at you right now at this moment, what can you say to them to inspire them and to have them to want to do more?
I would say this: whatever some are called to be entrepreneurs, some are called to different whatever space. Ask that question: how can I help you? Look out, and oftentimes, we see how we can, I get it. I was there, and just to be clear, I'm still there, looking for, those opportunities, looking to make, a little, move up. But when we get out aside of both internal looking, like, okay, what can I do to get this more point? How we can help others, how we can solve solutions that can lead to getting those things that we need unintentionally. Ask those questions. When you are, if you are in say you're in high school, and you are trying to figure out why in the world all this stuff just to get in college. I got to go through this. I don't know if it's still I got to go through. Man, I had to do the college board. Please, college board, don't be mad at me. And some of those other areas. Is there an easier way for us to navigate through this? How can I help you? Think about that. Remember that while you're going through that. That is going to be the basis of you. For those who are in college, and thinking, how do I, remain, how do I find what the resources that I need, while as far as like paying for school, as far as like understanding, like, semester was covered, but this semester isn't. How do I make an impact? So ask yourself that question still. How can I help you? Remember that question. Mm-hmm. Maybe the solution comes later that has access to everything that, say, the resources out there, that a one-stop shop of resources for a student who's trying to find how to pay for something, and they go to your action. So it's all about asking those questions, and then for a person who's out in the world and they are getting the full life and trying to understand how to navigate, how to You there are a plethora of questions, whether in your 9 to 5, whether in your you're trying to figure out why certain need in your community. Look at the problems and try to think of what better. And as you look at those solutions, you find those people who are you, and as you're sitting there, you going back to see, 2 people. You gotta find, 2 people, a part of that business to launch that business. So that means, for a young person out there who's just concerned about different things, trying to figure out how to move like-minded people and take a moment and have those conversations. And I guarantee, if you find a couple people amongst yourself and you talk about that regularly, then you can ideas. And
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because that's all really good advice that you're giving. Why don't you? Is it possible that you can tell us and tell the audience what was your inspiration in order to pursue your MBA?
Okay. One of the things, I'm gonna give you the special answer, and then I'm gonna give you the one of the real answers that come first. Just being real with you all. You realize when I'm working, I've realized, we got to make and so needed to kind of needed to kind of move forward. But no. They say oftentimes a ship can inspire you to go, and so last year, I met someone, that it was, there could be a time, in the space that family and all those things, and essentially, and with that, just kind of realized that, okay, I'm in a good space in, career wise, but I need to kind of go, one, in the collegiate space, oftentimes, for those who are, just going to college and you just get your letters of whatever, degree or whatnot, that's usually, for your, your role. But in the collegiate space, typically when they're, working in higher education, it's encouraged, it's, strongly encouraged, you move, say, some type of master's program, or if you're looking at your program. But essentially, what I realized is, from the coin, aside from wanting to make, a little bit more money, aside from, wanting to take care of, starting a family, what you'll find is, there are some levels where you can a bigger impact, where you can help. Like entry level roles, they're a lovely space to be in because they have the problems. You see those problems, and thinking, you come up with this solution. Why can't we do that? And it's great space, but you can't there, because if you really, aside from the money, and aside from, you realize that you want to make a change. You want a part of that change. And what happens is, to get into those type of spaces, they'll say, okay, well, have an MBA, or you got to have a master MPA, or whatever, or MED, if you're on the education side.
Just a program.
Yeah, some type of formal master's program. So essentially, that part, that realization, I'm truly going to make a change. If I'm truly going to make that effort forward, then I've got to take advantage of. And working in higher education, I'll tell you a trick, because we get fooled into thinking that we have to go to any other institutions. I'm not speaking as a representative, not speaking of, just speaking real. We get to spend a lot of money at places that are crazy for getting your degrees and things and whatnot. And it's no knock to those. One of the biggest tricks to getting in, of not having to pay for, is working in a higher education institution.
Okay.
We talk about debt, time.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I want you to, it's the young people that's in your generation that are the aspiring new future generational leaders that we have. And so I think for the goals that you have set, the things you have accomplished, and the things that you are doing, they are a whole lot. And so, the information that you're providing, as well as, giving your story, that's an inspiration on its own. And I'm going to tell you, I'm very, very proud of you. And I'm proud of you for the reason of wanting to make sure that you're not only achieving, but you don't give up. And so being at the point of your career or your life or where you are right now is a really, really good point. These are some things that the folk that are out there looking right now can look and can take that inspiration and can just learn and understand that as you're weaving your way through these tall forest trees, that you're still accomplishing. That's the number one point. That's your number one inspiration. And that is, you will continue to do what you've got to do in order to make it happen, where you can reach back and pull others along the way. I'm really proud of you for that.
I will say this. I certainly can't take all the credit. If it weren't for those who were ahead of me, that that pushed me along. My current MBA program, had I come out of my undergrad, and I was talking with he's now the president of communications at I think at either night. I can't remember. But he was get me for bringing him up on this call. But Mr. He dealt with contracts for contracting it out for people being able to use the space, event space, and he was also a business professor. And as I was went to talk to him, I was like, telling him, getting his, and he said, "Have you thought about getting an MBA?" And I told him, I was like, I've just finished my bachelor's. I'm ready to, kind of. He told me where to go. And it was the best advice I got. I went went there, situated, and then I was able to reach back and then ask him if he could, to be down for a reference on my when I was sending everything in. And what I learned, because there were different instances where he would, he was dealing with, he was over strategic market. There were instances where he'd asked me to do certain things on camp, like an advertisement or things like that. And of course, when you're getting opportunities, you may not always get it for. But one of the things that I have learned in my time spaces that I did when I was over at the college, where those opportunities, those oftentimes are some of the you can pull from later. Mm-hmm. Taking opportunities. That's why I said, you can't always chase the coin. Sometimes there are benefits that come from taking opportunities. And so, out of those people, one of them being the current president of the university, who was George Lewis, who was the Colin previously, and worked with him found him when I went over to Clayton. Him, Michael Montgomery, several different people. Without those, I wouldn't have gotten where I am. So I say, thank you. I can't accept it, and I can't claim it as my own. Encourage those young people to just connect with people who are in spaces that are greater, and maybe not look for the coin yet, but look for.
Oh wow, that is. I want to tell you that of all things, that speaks volumes. So let me tell you why that speaks volumes. It's because normally, as you say, a lot of people do chase the dollar. But in this case, it sounds like what you're saying is having the knowledge and the foundation is much more important than anything at this point to project you and propel you and push you forward.
It's so crazy to me. I think back, I was given the president of the college in undergrad, and we had some people who were, and there was a gentleman, bless his heart, I'm not going to say his name, sweet guy, full gentleman. I was bored, and he was saying, man, Andrew, he's like, they got you about the campus and all stuff. They should give you a little extra money for that. And you know what I was thinking? You about right. I should ask for a little bit of money for this. But do you know, last year for new dean, College of Business, Scheller College of Business, and I was sitting in there in the room with my not my boss, not my boss's boss, but her boss, reports directly to the provost, who reports to the president of the college. My boss was out and just working with some different things, and you must be, you must be Andrew. You're new. Okay, and a little background and things. And I was telling him, yeah, I worked in undergrad, worked with the president's office, give some tours, and she said, oh, okay. She's like, you have some experience in that area. And so I thought back to that conversation. Wow. Had I turned down opportunities, had I said, oh, no, they got to pay me a little bit more to do this kind of, I wouldn't have that experience to pull from there are moments of imposter syndrome in my current role where why I'm in the room, and but still kind of wondering in many instances, why am I in the thankful for all those opportunities that I didn't turn down, and that time will come when it comes to the coin, and people that they'll pay you what your worth is. I'm not saying that but they'll give you that worth if you chase that coin early. Yes, you could get something a little bit more, but and it may that may, but if you take those little small opportunities that maybe maybe thinking long term, think about what you've got to buy that day, think about what you need to buy later, and man, you'll look back and you won't regret. And the trick is to do it. The trick is to learn that lesson as early as possible. Learn it as early as possible so that your future self and your future self, all those who encounter you, can be impacted. And of all that, I've been able to pull some of my old team that I used to work with, that I came up with in my undergrad, and kind of find some roles for them with spaces too, that we all came up under that Access College and went into our further space, and it's a blessing. I'm just thankful to God that me those opportunities.
Well, I want to thank you for your time. And I want to thank you for being here and giving us some knowledge and some ideas of resources to help entrepreneurs. But also, I want to thank you for sharing a part of your story with the audience, where people can get to know who Andrew Williams is and the things that you are doing that's going to make you a prosperous person in your future. I also hope that one day that, pretty soon that you come back and we can have a follow up and see exactly where things have gone as you're going to grow in your journey. I think each and every individual. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
No. I was just saying thank you.
Well, I want to thank all the audience, the people that actually participated and watched the show tonight. I hope everyone enjoyed. And please, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, America in Black and White, I want to ask if you would please subscribe and hit the notification buttons. Because every time we do a show, if you're not able to catch the show, you'll know that it is there and you'll always able to go back and watch it. Thank you again, Mr. Williams. We hope to see you again. And everybody have a wonderful evening.